WWE is honored to pay tribute to the historic legacy of the fabulous Moolah at this year's WrestleMania with the introduction of the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
She's a witch, I tells ya! Burn her! Burn her!
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
Hello everyone, this is AJ Orsini, and I am your host for Orsini's Uncensored Mind. We are here today with episode 24, and this is usually the part where I start asking everybody how the fuck do all of you feel, but I don't give a fuck how all of you feel. I am in my feelings right now. I am injured. For those of you who don't follow me on Facebook or social media at all, fuck you. For those of you who do, slightly less fuck you to you, because if you haven't been following, I put it up on the media just the other day that I blew a wheel. My left quadricep turned heel on me. I got a nice little injury going over here. I'm recording this now on Wednesday, last minute recording because so much has gone on this week. On Monday, I was in a class coaching and teaching track and field. I was running a relay with a buddy, and I was turning a corner, foot planted a little odd, and there was a pop right in my left leg. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little nervous. Felt like I got a little Triple H'd. And I heard a pop. I actually felt like a complete tear. That's what it felt like. It felt like a complete tear, and I thought I was in serious trouble. I was in a ton of pain. Luckily, I was on a college campus, and they have some medical personnel on site. So I got sent down to the doctor. Took a look, started touching, poking and prodding and whatnot, and he had determined that it was not a tear. I would have been in much more pain had it been a tear, which is unfathomable to think that there's more pain than that. But yes, I would have been in more pain. He didn't feel any detachments. The muscle was still on the bone, yada, yada, yada. Long story straight, he just said that I was probably suffering from a severe strain of the muscle. Probably some slight bruising on the inside of the muscle, which is what I was feeling. And then I was going to get eventual swelling, which I did. Swelling to the fact that I wasn't able to actually maneuver my leg around the knee area. I had nice hip movement. I was able to swing my leg, per se. But I could not bend. I could not walk. And throbbing, extreme heat in the muscle. It was just a bad fucking day on Monday. So we iced the fucker up. I took the day yesterday to do the same. So I've kind of been in chillax mode the last 2 days. I haven't really had a chance to do much on the work end, which also includes this podcast. I did not get a chance to put together the show that I wanted to. So I started working on the show as late last night and then earlier today. But I got to be honest, it didn't take much to put this show together because there's so much to get to. The world is literally coming in on its own. Everything, walls are closing in. The roof is on fire. There's panic in the streets. Dear God. There's so many things going on social media, and I just have to grab a bag of popcorn and just chill sometimes and just relax. On things that I feel very strongly about, I will comment on, sometimes on social media. But when there's so many comments, when there's that one topic that everybody's talking about, I kind of stay away because I want to hear the conversation and I want to hear the different tone in which, the narrative is from people who both know who's on the inside and people who don't. And on several topics, there was a lot of discussion. So I'm going to get to the really heavy stuff just a little bit later because I'd like to start off my podcast light before I get into all the heavy stuff. I'm going to start off light on this one. And I'm just going to let everyone know that I did not watch Fastlane. I did not get the chance to catch Fastlane. I got the results. I saw some highlights. I'm up to date. But I did not actually sit and commit and watch 3 hours of Fastlane because I was having a weekend with the wife. And we were binging Saturday night into Sunday on Jessica Jones Season 2. That's what I was watching while all of you were hashtagging and tweeting about Fastlane. I was balls deep into the newest Marvel expansion into the Netflix world or universe or whatever cliche shit it is now. And I got to sit down and see Jessica Jones. Now, I have seen all of them. I am a big fan of the Marvel shows that go into Netflix. Not all of them, but I'll get into that in a second. I liked this season. I'm going to start off the back by saying that. I liked the season. I did get some temperature checking things going before I saw the season, how people felt about it, because I didn't see it when it came out. Obviously, I saw it over the weekend, so I didn't see it when it came out. But I just wanted to get a feel for how people were accepting it, and I saw a lot of the same criticisms. There were people that liked it, people that didn't, and for the people that didn't, they all kind of had the same reason. And now that I have seen the season, I can kind of get it. And I want to divulge into it. And for those of you who have not seen Jessica Jones just yet, I think I left my Facebook up. For those of you who have not seen Jessica Jones Season 2 yet, this is your chance to skip because I'm talking Jessica Jones Season 2. I don't give a shit about giving out spoilers. I fear nothing from you people when it comes to giving away shit that you haven't seen yet. It came out March 8th. This podcast is now being uploaded and delivered to you on the 14th. That is about 6 days. You've had 6 days to watch it. If you haven't seen it yet because you're busy or whatever, that's on you. I don't give a fuck. I'm talking Jessica Jones Season 2. So this is your chance now to skip ahead at least a few minutes because we're getting into this shit. And we're going to get into it right now. And one of the biggest criticisms that I heard about this season was the lack of strong villain. It wasn't a very consistent, strong, this is the guy or gal you're supposed to hate. It was like everyone took a turn being the bad guy. There was an episode where, in all fairness, Jessica Jones was the bad guy. And then Mom was the bad guy. And then the doctor was the bad guy. And then Trish. I don't even call this Jessica Jones Season 2. I think it was Jessica Jones, which is the Season 1 season. And then this season shouldn't be called Jessica Jones. This season should be called the Trish Walker season. That's what it was. It was all about Trish. Trish took center stage for so many of these fucking episodes. So much camera time, so much character development. She was everything. They had this woman working. I mean, for God's sake, she was a child show actor. She was a former pop star. She's a talk show host. She's all these different things. She was all over the map. Former drug addict, former alcoholic. If you haven't seen the show yet, you probably should have skipped because this is a funny spoiler. But the way that she says thank you is awesome. Did you guys see that episode where she's in the bathroom about to blow this dude, and her only reasoning for blowing the guy was to say thank you because he had brought some primo drugs to the party? That was it. She just got on her knees to thank him, with her mouth. I love those thank yous. Those are my favorite thank yous in the world. I love when women thank me with their mouth. It's a good time. So this was the Trish season, I thought. And I can kind of see the villain thing. There are people making comparisons. Well, what made season 1 so great was Kilgrave. What made Luke Cage so great, Cottonmouth. What made Daredevil so great, Fisk. And what made Iron Fist so great was Danny Rand, who I could only assume was the real villain of that show. Danny Rand was the only villain in Iron Fist. I loved everyone on that show. I was even starting to like the Hand before I liked Danny Rand. Danny Rand was just a whiny little bitch. There was nothing about Danny Rand that I like at all. It shouldn't have even been called Iron Fist. It should have just been called Colleen Wig featuring American Kung Fu Guy. That's the name of the season. I know it's long. Probably should abbreviate. Possibly just get rid of the white guy and just say Colleen Wig, because Colleen Wig was the star of that fucking show. Seriously was. And the extreme lack of Rosario Dawson and Jessica Jones is sickening to me. She needs to be in every one of these things. Every single one. Turk being in it was awesome, because Turk should also be in every single one of these fucking things. Every single one. So I just thought Jessica Jones season 2 really brought it. It was a very fun, entertaining show. It was a lot of fun to be sitting with my wife and watching it. We really haven't had too much us time lately. And so I'm glad I got that in before I blew my fucking leg out. It was literally the day before I blew my fucking leg out. So I have not been fun to be around in the house right now because my mobility very limited. Very limited. So Jessica Jones season 2 out. We have The Punisher coming up. There's a lot of different things on the horizon. I know that I talk about Marvel a lot, but that's just because it's definitely one of my interests. I have other topics here to discuss here today. Jessica Jones season 2 out the box. I'm going to save some of this wrestling stuff because I really feel like if I really settled on this, I could really talk about this shit all day. I wanted to talk about a movie that was coming out that really piqued my interest because I just think that it looks cool. But I want to talk about Ready Player One just for a second, just for literally a quick second, because it's a movie. It's a movie that it's not a Marvel movie. It's not a Star Wars movie. It's something different for me to discuss as far as movie goes because it's piqued my interest. Now, of course, Steven Spielberg is behind this. For some reason, this guy always manages to find himself around some of the biggest things, for better or for worse, because he's also, if I'm not mistaken, a part of the Jurassic Park thing, Jurassic World. And I'm about ready to wipe my ass with that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, though, because the guy's hit way too many home runs for me in the past for me to just shut him out completely after a few strikeouts. But Ready Player One looks good. I saw the trailers for it, especially the newest one. The premise looks great with the whole they're all chasing this one guy, and there's all these different avatars chasing after him. The balance between the real world and the fake one, it looks stunning. The reason why I wanted to talk about this film is because, once again, the word trend setting, ahead of its time, is being hooked onto this movie. And how many more times are we going to have that? I mean, Avatar was supposed to be ahead of its time, right? It just seems like every time we up the ante and do something just a little bit different with these movies, I mean, how much more high def can we possibly get? 1080p, 4K. There's all these different. You go to the movies now, and it's standard ticket, it's 3D ticket, it's IMAX ticket. It's the Regal theaters now have RPX, which is just like fancy race car seats and a 3D anime. It's a whole bunch of different. They're trying so hard to enhance these movies, and a movie like Ready Player One is basically just tailor-made for an IMAX theater or an RPX theater or anything that really enhances the graphics and audio entertainment value of each fucking movie. And these movies are just pushing the envelope. And a lot of these movies that I see now, and maybe this is just me in my old age, I'm getting up there, but they're just so devoid of substance. I'm watching and I'm following and I'm thinking to myself, I don't really I'm not really that committed. I'm not that committed to this. So when it comes to like Jurassic Park, like the first Jurassic Park movie, visually stunning, loved it. I was following it. Everything was cool. As the sequels progressed, it just kind of fell downhill. Avatar is the same way. Avatar really pulled me in. It was stunning. It was great. I don't know how the sequels are going to work out, but I can already tell you it's probably not going to go well. Because if you go on IMDb right now, all you'll see is multiple avatars, 2, 3, 4, and it can't possibly go as good as the first. The first time, it's like cocaine, man. The first hit's the best hit. The 122nd hit, not so good. Not so good. Kind of like salt water in your veins. It's not going to have the same effect. So when you have a movie like Ready Player One, as visually stunning as it is, and we're hoping that the script is going to follow through with as visually, we're hoping the script is going to be as good as it looks. Hopefully the story behind everything will make sense and we'll be able to follow. But how much more pushing of the envelope can we really get? How much crazier can these movies be? Are we going to be at a point 20 years from now where we're in movie theaters all? It won't even be a movie theater anymore. It won't be a screen. We'll all just have individual seats and headsets on. This is going to be ridiculous. We're getting into that Back to the Future shit. And it's getting closer and closer. I'm genuinely interested in this movie. I want to check it out. It looks good. I hope it sounds good. I hope the acting is good. And it's definitely a non-Marvel Star Wars related movie that I'm definitely going to check out. Another one that I definitely want to check out, and I've already heard mixed reviews about it, and I don't know why, because everything that's come out about it so far looks absolutely amazing, and that's that Tomb Raider movie. I don't know why it's getting as much flack as it is. It looks. Of course, yes, I did play the game. I love the game. It was a lot of fun for me. And also, side note, not a big fan of the original films. I loved the original game. I love the new version that they have. I have it on my Xbox with the current rendition of Lara Croft that we were doing in the movie, the exact storyline and everything. And I love the video games. The only thing about Lara Croft and Tomb Raider I didn't like was the Angelina Jolie movies. Those were the only ones I didn't like. I didn't think they were that good. I'm sorry. And this one looks awesome, which is why I'm trying to figure out what the slack is. It looks good. They look like they kept as close to the game as humanly possible. Alicia Vikander, I believe is her name, who's starring in the movie, really took this shit seriously. Her body was amazing in shape. I'm getting sick of these where her tits aren't big enough. What tits? She had triangle tits. She had pixelated tits. Did she not have enough pixels? Alicia, honey, can you get some more pixels in your tits? Is it possible? Is it all possible for you to get more pixels in your tits? We're trying to go for a more triangular look. You have too much curvature for these guys. It's pissing them off. They like their tits pointy. If you can get in there and fix that, that'd be great. Maybe the movie will get better reviews after we triangulate your tits. But this movie looks awesome. I'm going to have a ball watching it. My wife's not too into it, but that's cool. Daddy can do his own thing. It's all right. I'm an adult. I could buy my own movie ticket. I have no problem going to the movies alone. Fuck everybody else. But I think it's going to be good, and I think it looks good so far. So I'm super excited about that. So those are some of the things that I had going on. I wanted to talk just a little bit about some of the things that's going on with the show for a second. The platforms. Okay, I have many platforms in which this show is on. Obviously, the main platform is ajoursinpodbean.com. Podbean is the main source. It's the number one source of all my episodes, and it's been there since day one. It's where I've started everything. But I also have other platforms. And then, again, I want to remind everybody of this in case they're using other apps or in case Podbean drops out, because I've gotten some people who have messaged me saying, hey, listen, I went to go download the show, but the fucking app wasn't working, or the website was down, or maintenance, or whatever the fuck. Like I said, I don't work for Podbean. I'm an independent person here doing my own thing. I don't work for Podbean, so I don't give a shit if you download the Podbean app or not. I don't. So if you cannot catch me on Podbean, it's fine. All you need to do is search Orsini's Uncensored Mind in iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, or TuneIn Radio app. Those are 4 different platforms you can check me out at. If you happen to already have those apps, or if you're interested in getting an app for music, sports content, or just to listen to my show, doesn't really matter. Those are the ways in which you can do that. Now, my show is not predominantly a wrestling show, but I am a wrestling guy. I've always been a wrestling guy. I'll always be a wrestling guy, and I have to tell you, lot of things going on in the wrestling world. Now, there's 2 things I'm going to start off with that are personal to me and the show. So I didn't get a chance to talk. I post a lot of shit on the social media stuff. I don't really get a chance to talk about it much. But today's the fucking day. So strap the fuck in, because we're gonna have the discussion. We're gonna have the come to Jesus meeting right now, because I'm about to go to war with you motherfuckers if you don't cut this shit out. I need you to listen to me and pay attention, okay? So I posted a picture on the Orsini's Uncensored Mind Facebook page. Shared it into the group, shared it around, just trying to get some ideas, some thoughts, and opinions. That's what I like to do. I like to crowdsource some shit. I don't just assume that my version of the story is number one. Sometimes you need the thoughts and processes of other people to put shit together the way that you want to put shit. All right? Having trouble following me? I'll get more specific. I put a picture on the Orsini's Uncensored Mind Facebook page. And there was a picture that someone had made where it had the top shows. It had like 3 or 4 pictures put together. Okay? And all the wrestling shows, the main card stuff was on the left side, and it was all Okada's main events from New Japan. And then it was on the right side was all of Roman Reigns' main events from the WWE. And all I asked was, what the fuck is the difference between Reigns and Okada? Okay? Now, I have an idea of what that difference is, but I wanted the crowdsource to get an idea of how the people felt about the difference between Roman Reigns, okay, and Okada. And I got a lot of good answers. People who were pretty much telling me, Roman Reigns has been protected since day one. He never really had to pay early dues. He paid his dues while he was already in that spot. He never paid dues to get to that spot. Whereas Okada was a young boy, and he started from the very bottom, and he scratched and he crawled and he worked his way all the way up to the top, and yada 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 yada. Okay, it was a really good. Some of these comments were really good and really constructive, and I enjoyed them. But for all you other silly motherfuckers who went on here and commented all your goofy shit, allow me to fucking retort. Because I'm going to tell you the one thing you probably don't want to fucking hear. I'm going to tell you the one thing that's sure to make your ears fucking bleed. Are you ready for this? I want you to pay close attention. You ready? Fuck Okada. How about that? How about that? Does it hurt? Does it sting? Does it burn in your chest to hear such fucking things? Now, I'm not saying fuck Okada as a disrespect to him. I think he's a great performer. I think this guy's going to be a main event star for many, many years in that company. He's the new ace. New Japan has got their top guy. I appreciate his work in the ring. When I say fuck Okada, it's got nothing to actually do with Okada. It's got everything to do with you people who constantly choke on the genitals of whoever New Japan puts on their fucking posters. Okay? I'm not a New Japan guy. I've said this before on the show. I appreciate the effort they put in on the ring. I just don't get the product. That's all that it is. It doesn't entertain me the way that other companies entertain me. Okay, so I put this picture up, and there were people commenting, literally saying that the mere comparison of Reigns and Okada was not only dumb, it was ignorant. I was called ignorant. I was called stupid. I was called a troll. There were people, he's just trolling. He can't actually believe that there's some sort of similarity between these two people. Allow me to explain how the world works, because apparently you're not clear on how adulthood works, okay? This is how adulthood works. You ready? No one, not one fucking person on the planet is above criticism and is above being critiqued. No one. I'm not. The most powerful people in the world are not. The richest people in the world are not. No one is exempt. Okada is good. I can go as far to, I can meet you halfway and say that he's great. Is he the best professional wrestler I've ever seen? Hell no. Hell no. I don't know if he's in my top 20. Okay? But he's damn good. And he's going to be damn good for a long time. So maybe by the end of that run, when it's over and Okada hangs up the boots, he might be one of the best professional wrestlers of all time. But today, 2018, he's not. Okay? I've seen better clotheslines. I've seen better entrances. Okay? I know he puts packages together, and his in-ring generalship is one of the best in the world. Congrats. He don't do nothing I've never seen before. Okay? He's great. Okay? But he's not once in a lifetime. Neither is Roman Reigns. I've seen, what does Roman Reigns do? That nothing. He's not that special either, but they all have the complete packages, and that was why I asked the question. Both of these guys have a look. Both of these guys can work. Yes, they can. Okay, and the most important part of the entire equation is that both of them have the full confidence of the management team in the back. Now, if Okada, okay, started off as a young boy, and he started off from the bottom, and he worked his way up to the top, now I have a little bit more respect for Okada than I would say Roman Reigns. But allow me to also tell you that Okada, just this past year, not this past year, excuse me, a few months ago, November, Okada turned 30. 30. Okay? So for all this scratching and crawling, I mean, he rose pretty high too. They jumped on the Okada bandwagon while he was in his 20s. Okay? So it wasn't like he was working that long. I get it. He started from the bottom. He worked up. When you're that talented, it don't take you that long. But it wasn't like we're not talking about 10, 12, 15 years worth of work where all of a sudden he's getting his due and now he's got this built up equity. I'm sorry. No one is above critique. No one is above criticism. I can question. That's not a troll move. That's not a dumb fucking question. That's a real fucking question. I'm comparing the two top guys in the two major promotions in the entire fucking wrestling world. How the fuck is that an ignorant question? It's a very, very good question, which people had very, very good answers for. The real wrestling fans had very good answers to this question. It actually convinced me to have way more respect for Okada than I had when I asked the question. And that's why I pose these questions up, so that I can become a better, more knowledgeable person. Not say stupid shit like, what a troll. No, baby, I can be a troll when I want to be. That was a legitimate question. So if it went over your head, I apologize. But for those of you who were able to answer the question truthfully, thank you so much for participating correctly and by participating well, because I came out of it with way more knowledge and, to be honest with you, way more respect than I had in the first place for Okada. And that's the point. I think if American fans knew more of that, it would fire up an even bigger fan base. I mean, I know New Japan has a great American following as it is, but man, when you tell stories like that, the way that they build their stars, I think people would take more of a care. I'm not even a New Japan guy, and I respected Okada a lot when I heard the stories coming out about how he got there. So I just want to thank everybody for that and get that shit off of my chest. Also on the Facebook page and on the group, I think mostly the group, I had put a poll. There was a poll that went up that I put, and it was a random thought, but it caught fire, my friends. There were people from all over the place voting, and I cannot possibly thank you guys enough for participating in these polls and really giving me the feedback, because the feedback is really where it's at for me. I love having the conversation. I love having the debate. I love having feedback. And I got my voice heard. So the question that I had laid out was entrance themes. It was one of the votes. And by the way, it's still up, I believe. It's still up where you can vote. I have a new poll that was put up today about your excitement about WrestleMania. I'll get to that in a second. But there was a poll put up about wrestling themes. Which era had the best wrestling themes? And I voted for the current era, the reality era, if you will, what they're calling it now, the reality era, as my favorite. The music that I'm getting today from these guys, amazing. And I grew up with the golden era. I heard all the themes between then and now, and I have got to tell you, it's my favorite era. Right now, the music coming out for these guys, awesome. But I wanted to go back because the Attitude Era was the era that won. The era that I voted for actually came in second. But the era that won with the most votes, we see 23 votes, the Attitude Era. My vote, which was the Reality Era, got 16. Ruthless Aggression, I got to add 3. 9. Golden Era in 4th. 8. The New Generation Era got 5. And the PG era got almost no love with only 2 votes. New Generation Era beat the PG era. That's got a lot to fucking say about the fucking PG era. But the Reality Era and the Attitude Era, man, those eras of music forever in our hearts. So I wanted to take the time to thank all you guys for voting. Take all that time for chiming in. It wasn't just votes. A lot of people left comments. that were amazing. I mean, just childhood memories, some of their favorite themes. That's what I love, man. I love sparking discussion. I love having it. It was actually a fun idea. Somebody had brought up an idea of just bringing, having the opportunity to bring fans on the show and just fucking cuff it out. And I'm thinking about it. I am, especially for the ones who really comment a lot and really support the show. I love getting the thoughts and views of the people around me. I really absolutely do. And speaking of getting a lot of people behind me and sparking conversation, there's a little thing going down over in Chi-Town. I don't know if you guys heard. If you haven't, I will bring you up to speed. September 1st is the date finally set by the All-In Show financiers. The All-In Show, I should say. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, and those damn dastardly Young Bucks have been talking about a self-financed professional wrestling event. They've been trying to put one together. I haven't talked about it much on the show, and that's because there were really no specifics. There was nothing really set in stone. There was nothing really to talk about except for the fact that people were talking about it. I don't divulge in rumor, and I don't divulge in bullshit. I need facts. I need concrete shit. Now I've got them. So September 1st is the date set for the All-In Show, and it will be at the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, not too far. Actually, I looked it up earlier. It's about a 20-25 minute drive from O'Hare Airport, Chicago. It's technically in Chicago, like the Chicago area, but some Chicagoans are saying that it's really not that close. I don't know. I'm not from Illinois, so I don't know, but they're saying it's from Chicago. So there's a lot of things going on with this. First of all, their goal is a very lofty goal. Their goal for this event, they want to draw 10,000 people to the seats, baby. That is WWE numbers. I mean, Ring of Honor totes its biggest audience of all time at 4,500. They just recently did that. New Japan is topping, top them. I think they're doing 5,000 for that show they've got coming up in Long Beach. Is it in Long Beach with the Mysterio Liger matchup? I'm not entirely sure. But even New Japan, I'm hearing New Japan probably could have done better numbers if they got in a bigger building. So maybe, if not this show, maybe New Japan has a shot at the title, and we'll be able to figure all that stuff out. But the goal here is 10,000 people, and everybody is up and, everyone's got their opinion about whether or not they can hit the mark or they can't. I'm going to go out on a limb because these three guys are about as smart about the business as possible. First of all, they chose a great date. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's right after all that SummerSlam stuff. So people are really going to be, all over the map. They're going to be talking wrestling. It's in Chicago, which is central. Not a lot of people are going to be flying in. I'm sure fans will be flying in. They'll be treating it like a WrestleMania. And they can really get people going. They've been doing tours. They've been doing signings. They're getting pro wrestling tees involved with stuff. They are promoting. Up the ass. They're getting people fully aware that a show is coming to this fucking building. And that's sorely missed in wrestling, in the indies. There's a lot of promotion sometimes that doesn't get done. I don't know how many shows I've been on where I've announced that I'm going to be on a show. Or should I say, I'm at the show, or the show is over, and I post something saying, hey, I had fun at this place, and then somebody on my Facebook page will say, damn, bro, you were there tonight? I wish I would have known. I would have fucking been there. And there'll be people who say that to me who live literally 10 minutes from the venue. They had no fucking clue that a wrestling show was going on. So as far as indie companies go, promotion sometimes is hard to come by. But these guys are doing it, and they're doing it well. Now, they have their friends, It's being financed by Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. Those are the names that I know about. I'm not entirely sure if Stephen Amell, the guy who plays Arrow on the CW network, I know he's friends with Cody. I don't know if he's a financer, but I know he's a part of the project. I know Kenny Omega is close to all these guys, and I know he's on the card, but I don't know if he's I don't think he's a financer, and I know for a fact that he's going to be in the building performing, might even exactly be in the main event. And, when you think about 10,000 people, you have to think about a draw. You have to have a draw. Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, even Kenny Omega are awesome performers. And I'm sure if they were on a card pushed by many talents, that they would be able to help draw in a number of people. I don't think them alone will draw 10,000. I'm on the same page with everyone when it comes to that. But I think, and I'm going to go on a limb and say this, I'm going to take a chance here. I think they're going to hit the mark. I think they're going to get the 10,000 people, because I think there's enough around the country at least to get people to bite on one big extravaganza. And that's the problem. That's the only one problem I have with all this. I think they'll hit their mark, and I think they'll reach the 10,000 people. The problem is I don't think they'll be able to do it ever again. And I don't know if they plan to. From what I understand, there's no talk about this being a promotion. I just think people are of the impression that it's going to be a one-shot deal. It's a huge extravaganza. They're going to try all these different little things to get people to come to this one show. They want to put on a show of a lifetime. 10,000 plus people rocking in a building. And I really hope they pull it off, and I think that they can. And if it's going to be in Chicago, there's one guy that people are going to be talking about, and his name is Colt Cabana. If they can get Colt, I'm joking. CM Punk is obviously the name that people are going to be talking about. Getting this guy on the card. No jokes aside, though, Colt Cabana should be on that show. Just not for nothing. But CM Punk is definitely the name that people have been talking about. It's definitely the name that I'm sure that they've already contacted. I don't know the specifics, but I'm going to throw a few things out there. I'm not entirely sure he's eligible to be there. I know that he has a contract with UFC. I know he's been training for that. If they can't get a match out of him, an appearance perhaps, special referee, enforcer, host, some shit, if they can get this, if they could get this fucking guy to the Sears Center Arena on September 1st, I think the 10,000 is guaranteed. It's guaranteed. I think it's money in the bank at that point. I don't know too many guys available to them right now where that would be a guaranteed thing, where they can get 10,000 people. But Punk in Chicago, it might work. It might work, but I'm not entirely sure that they can get CM Punk for that show. That's the problem I think that exists. I'm not entirely sure they would be able to actually physically get him. If they could, because this is the next thing, if they could get CM Punk for this show, let's say Dana White does have a contract on him where that makes him ineligible to compete or to be a part of the show, but he waives it. Special favor to my buddy. Go ahead, do the show, just don't get hurt. Come back, finish your training, and do what you need to do. It would be on Punk at that point. And the question now becomes, does CM Punk want to come back to the world of wrestling even for just one night? Even for just one night. And I feel like that answer is no. I don't think he'd want to do that. Why tease the people? Why keep guys? I really think he's been working hard on trying to shed this whole pro wrestling shit so that he could focus on being an MMA fighter. And for him to go back even for the one show, I don't know if he feels that it's worth it, especially since they're not going to be able to pay him the money he's actually worth for the one fucking show. It's just not going to work out that way. And then there's another part of the problem. Let's say he does want to do the show. Let's say he says, yeah, I'm down. I want to do this fucking show. It's in Chicago. It's not too far from my house. I could literally just drive there for a 30-minute drive or so. I'm fucking there. I can do that. There's one problem to that. And that problem is UFC 225. That's right. UFC 225. Now, nothing has been truly made official just yet. But CM Punk has gone online and confirmed, at least on his end, Dana White nor UFC have confirmed this, or not that I'm aware of, because I looked this up earlier today to confirm and I couldn't find anything. But UFC 225 is an event that will be emanating from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, June 9th. Okay, June 9th. And Punk is saying he's on that show. Now, here's the deal. The last time CM Punk fought, I'm not going to say utter embarrassment, but it wasn't a good look. And I got into my debates then. See, I didn't have a podcast then. But I got into a debate then. People were like, well, fuck it. He followed his dream. No. No, fuck it. No, follow your dream. He got drubbed. He got embarrassed. Okay? That's not an easy thing to swallow, and it's not an easy thing to come back from. He hurt a lot of his brand and his stock by getting his ass beat the way that he got his ass beat. Now, no one said he had to win that fight to win everybody over. Okay? But as we all know, when it comes to real fighting, it's not so much wins and losses, it's having the heart to go in there and fight back. Okay? And from what I understand, I don't recall, it's been a while since I've seen it. You know, I blinked and it was over, so it's hard to remember sometimes. But I don't think he even threw a fucking punch, did he? No, he got his ass beat. A lot. So my question is this now. If we confirm it and he gets to the event June 9th and he goes into the octagon and he wins or puts up a hell of a fight, I think it's a good chance he goes to All In. Because he'd want to continue that momentum, right? Push. Not only now with the MMA fans behind him, but then he goes to All In. He gets all of his real hardcore fans right back behind him. And man, that third fight, whenever it comes, you're talking about a push. Man, CM Punk's going to be in the driver's seat. But if Punk goes to UFC 225 and he gets his ass beat like the red-headed stepchild he was the first time around, if he gets his ass beat like he stole money from grandma's purse, if he gets his ass beat like a donkey on the side of that mountain, he ain't coming to All In. We may not see that motherfucker for forever. It's going to be a while before we see that dude again. We may never see that dude again. He gets his ass beat the way he got beat up the first time again this June. Fuck it. I mean, that's Problem City. We're not going to see CM Punk. So there's a lot of ifs still. I'm doing this episode right now in March. We're mid-March. Okay, this show is not for another 6 months. Even the motherfuckers financing it have a million bookings and dates between now and then. A lot to figure out, a lot on the table, and I'm sure they're going to figure it out. I have trust and I have faith in the Bucks and in Rhodes. If they're going to figure this out. 10,000 people, I'll sign up. I'm going to go with yes. I think they're going to pull it off. Okay? So, that's All In. We got some other wrestling stuff we need to get to real quick here. Okay? Because the one topic I need to get to, I'm saving that motherfucker. Okay? But there's some NXT news I have to talk about. I'm not going to get a chance to talk about NXT too much. But I'm definitely here to talk about it right now because there is definitely some things that we need to talk about. So for years, there's been this conversation amongst the community that perhaps, if at all possible, NXT could use a secondary championship. Now, I use that term cautiously because already as it is, I feel like the WWE has way too many championships. This WrestleMania coming up already looks like a Night of Champions pay-per-view. It's not really a WrestleMania. It's Night of Champions in front of 70,000 people. Okay, there's way too many belts as it is. But NXT seems to be its own thing off to the side and off to the corner. It already has tag champs. It's got a world champ. A secondary title would mean a lot. Now, I thought for a minute that the UK title would serve as that secondary belt. Made sense to me, especially since they stopped really defending it exclusively to the UK. I mean, Gargano's gotten a shot. Roderick Strong's gotten a shot. Pete Dunne's put them all down, but they've all gotten shots. So I just felt like, there we go. We have a secondary title belt, right? But, not just yet. So on the tapings, again, spoilers if you haven't heard already. Skip ahead. But NXT does their taping. And during the taping, they had announced that the NXT management team has put together a new championship, the NXT North American Championship. And they're going to be having a match at the TakeOver for WrestleMania weekend. TakeOver New Orleans. Okay? And it's going to be a 6-man ladder match that will determine who will compete and become the new champion. So, let's go through the list here. Okay, competitor number 1, the Velveteen Dream, if you will. Now, he is going to probably be the running favorite for this matchup. I'm not entirely sure that he should be, but I know that he will be. Killian Dane, the big man, okay, from Sanity. Lars Sullivan, the big destroyer. Adam Cole from Undisputed Era, which confuses me, and I hope along the way we get this figured out, because for those of you who don't know, Bobby Fish is injured, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions. So Adam Cole, from what I understand, would be taking his spot and reuniting with Kyle O'Reilly as a tag team to be the tag team champions. Now, the tag team champions are heavily fixed into the Dusty tournament. So if Cole has to both defend the tag titles and compete for the North American title at that takeover, it's going to be the Adam Cole show, baby. And I said that poorly, but I don't feel like infringing on his gimmick. Chances are he's walking out of New Orleans with a championship belt. Question is will it be 1 or will it be 2? So the other members are 2 debuts. EC3 will be in this ladder match, and so will Ricochet. Now, Ricochet alone should tell you people this ladder match is going to be insane. If you're going to debut a guy like Ricochet, this might be the way to do it. The problem is, I don't think we're going to get the Ricochet we all think we are. Again, it is the WWE. Now, I know it's NXT, so at first, they're probably going to let him do his thing. They haven't had a chance to break him down yet. Okay, so we'll see how that works out. But those are your 6 competitors for the NXT North American Championship. Again, that will be taking place at New Orleans Takeover New Orleans, I should because we'll reverse that. And I got to tell you, WrestleMania weekend is looking stronger and stronger. With the tag team tournament, with the championship being decided at TakeOver, we have a 6-man ladder match taking place at New Orleans TakeOver. Andre Cien Almas will be defending the NXT Championship against Aleister Black. I mean, we've got a lot of great matches. Gargano and Ciampa, I'm sure, will be made official very soon. The last TakeOver I said on the show, I wasn't a big fan of. I really thought they dropped the ball on that one. This one looks like it might be the best one ever of all time. This might be the greatest TakeOver show they ever have. So, tale of 2 tapes between TakeOver shows. But I think NXT is going to do. I think NXT is going to do the damn thing. All right, we've made some moves here on the NXT front. The main roster stuff is all starting to be figured out. They've made Zayn and Owens official, in spite of the fact that they beat the shit out of Shane McMahon for whatever reason. Who gives a shit at this point? Shane's off TV, so that's great. Shane should have got the idea that everything's been going the wrong way when he told the audience he was going away for a while, and they cheered him. So that should have been an indication right there. Speaking of shitty reactions, Kid Rock being announced for the Hall of Fame in Detroit and got booed. You know, this celebrity wing bullshit, I don't know who it's for, man, because it ain't for us. Nobody is supporting that shit over here, so I don't fucking get it, to be honest with you. I don't understand it. But here it is. We're here again. And nothing kills me more than when they played that graphic of all the Hall of Famers going into this year's class. And oh my God. And you've got, Goldberg and the Dudleys and Ivory, right? And even Hillbilly Jim, even Hillbilly Jim, just he completely belongs up there. But then you got that little kid standing next to him. You got Kid Rock standing next to him, and it's just, I don't get it. It's whatever. I'm gonna pay my respects regardless. and I'm just gonna move on with my life. Okay. And the Hall of Fame speech, by the way, I'm not gonna get into it right fucking now because I got other things I gotta hit up before we get to the end of this podcast. We've got to stop with the pushing and the non-pushing of talent. He doesn't deserve to be in there. This person should get in before this person's gonna fucking get in. We're gonna get into that discussion. I'm gonna save that one for a roundtable, which I have plans for coming up soon. Next week's gonna be an interview episode, something non-related to everything that's been going on. But I do have a roundtable coming up. I think it's going to be, I think I'm settling on the WrestleMania idea. It's going to be the Wednesday after WrestleMania, hopefully, fingers crossed, where I get all that shit done. And I'm definitely saving that fucking question for that because I want to fucking yell at people for that. I don't want to sit here and just fucking scream at the wall. I want to scream in people's faces. So I'm gonna save that shit for WrestleMania because that shit needs to stop. It drives me fucking crazy. Okay, but none of those are the stories of the day. We're here. It's the main event. It's time to get into this, folks. It's time to get into this. And right now, I'm gonna get into my Jiminy Cricket mode. Okay, I'm gonna be your conscience right now. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to look out for you, the listener. And if you're on the YouTube channel, the viewer. Okay? I'm looking out for the squad of O. I am your brave yet injured leader, and I will help you through these trying times. Okay? I need you to listen to me on this. So on Monday Night Raw, apparently there was a decision made that would change the world forever. Okay, a decision was made probably long before Monday, but it was announced on Monday. Let me not say a decision was made on Monday. The decision was made at some fucking time. It was announced on fucking Monday. Okay, there's going to be a battle royal at WrestleMania, and it ain't gonna be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It's gonna be the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and for some oddball reason, they announced the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and the world shitted chicken. Boy, every social media platform on the planet went fucking ape shit. Ape shit. They went nuts. How can they do this? How disrespectful. How disgusting. I mean, people were shitting on the Fabulous Moolah like the bitch went into their house and smacked their mother and raped their dog and ate up all their food and took the good Kool-Aid out the fridge and left. That's how they've been treating Moolah on the internet for the last, what is this, Wednesday? 48 hours. It's been whoop Moolah's ass, whoop Moolah's dead ass day for the past 2 days straight. It about to be whoop Moolah's ass week. And they've been dragging her through the fucking mud for the last 48 straight goddamn hours. And my only response to all of that shit that they've been saying is too little, too late. And that's my response. Too little, too late. In the end, Moolah has won yet again. That's where I am with this. Because we're talking about a woman who did some pretty heinous shit for a long fucking time in front of every fucking person she ever met. Never hit it. And no one gave a fuck until she was dead and couldn't defend herself. And now everybody wants to hold her feet to the fire, but it's too late to ask for responsibility and to ask for her head now. She already dead. She not here no more. See, that is some cowardly pussy shit. And I'm not blaming fans for this because for most fans, from what I understand, for most fans, they're just now learning about this shit. There's a lot of people who were genuinely confused about the backlash about the fabulous Moolah. And I don't blame them for being confused because I was confused. They've been doing Moolah shit for years. Moolah has been the flag bearer when it comes to women in the WWE for forever. For forever. Even no matter who the top star was, they always gave props to the fabulous Moolah. Okay? There's never been a fucking issue with Moolah, ever. All this shit that people are talking about today, this shit happened way long ago. So, I mean, we're talking 70s. Like, some of this shit that's being discussed today in 2018 on Twitter and Facebook were happening before we had internet, before we had computers, before we had, I mean, this was a long fucking time ago. And did it consistently for years and years and years. And you're probably asking yourself, what kind of stuff are you talking about, AJ? Well, if you'll bear my indulgence for just a second, let's just take a trip down memory lane. And now, before I take, I just thought about this right now. Before I take this trip down memory lane, I also want to preface what I'm about to say with the following information. Moolah has never in her life ever been charged, let me start from the beginning, has never been arrested, has never been charged, has never been convicted, has never been brought to justice for any fucking crime ever committed against a single person, ever. Ever. However, if you're an adult, if you're a human fucking being with logical sense in your fucking brain, listen to what I'm about to tell you, okay? Just because a person has never stepped in front of a judge doesn't mean that that person is not a criminal, and does not mean that person is not an asshole. What I'm about to tell you are things that have been corroborated. These are stories being told by people that are being confirmed by many others within the industry who knew her best, who knew her personally. These are not random stories. These are not accusations. I've heard that term 1,000 times. Well, they're just accusations. They're not accusations. These have been corroborated. These have been proven as fact by crowds of people. Okay, things that happened between her and her daughter. Okay, her daughter's name is Marietta Carroll. Now, for the record, Moolah's real name is Mary. She named her daughter after herself. Okay, but her daughter wrestled under the name Pat Sherry. Okay, Pat Sherry, because Pat is easier to say than Marietta, so let's just stay with Pat. Pat didn't really want to be a fucking wrestler, but she needed more pawns. She needed more chips on the table, so she used her own fucking daughter. And she trained her, and she made her work all the fucking time. And there was a couple of instances where she was ill, and she was sick, and she had worked herself damn near to death, and they worked her anyway. And it got to the point where her daughter stood against her, and there was actually a warrant out for her arrest based on the condition she was parenting under. It was child neglect is what the charge was for the warrant. She was treating her daughter so poorly, the police were looking to arrest her. That's just the family shit. Okay, she was involved with drugs. She was involved with prostitution, not just with random women, but women within the industry. She ran a wrestling school where she would take her own students, beat them up, stretch them, which is not abnormal for a wrestling school, but then have the guys come in and take their turns. I mean, she was giving women, for her students as gifts to men, including her husband, who used to smack around and fuck anybody he really wanted in that entire place. And it was commonplace. This is not accusation. This is fact. These are survivors coming. If you're going to say the people who stepped up and said this are just making accusation, they're just making false statements, then the whole Me Too movement is bullshit, because that's what we're doing now, isn't it? We don't know that these women were sexually assaulted. We're taking their word for it, right? Okay, well, here we are again. Only in this point, it took place, 40 years ago? Almost 50 years ago? And they're still feeling it. All right, what about the story of Sweet Georgia Brown? A young African-American woman who came to Moolah with a dream, wanted to become a professional wrestler, came to the best school she could find. Actually did pretty well for herself. So good, in fact, that Moolah milked her ass fucking dry. They beat her. They raped her. They fed her drugs. They got her bookings when they made her sign a contract where Moolah would get 30 to 35% of the proceeds. Anything that she was paid, she had to give her more than a quarter. She figured in travel expense, not even part of the 35%. It was 35% off the top. Then the salary would pay for Moolah's travel, her hotel accommodations, food. She was living off of these women for years. For years this happened. Or what about, if that's not enough for you, how about some sufficient evidence? All of this stuff, if you want to say this is accusation, if you want to say all this stuff is just people trying to defame the good name of Moolah, I can argue with you. But you have an argument too, because we don't know. So you want me to give you something with concrete proof? No problem. All you need to do is switch over to YouTube or head over to the WWE Network and check out The Spider versus Wendy Richter. All right? The Spider was Moolah in a mask. Okay? There was some shenanigans taking place backstage. Moolah didn't like the fact that Wendy was getting so over. Okay? And she was losing her grip on the division, which was a division of God knows who. So I don't know where the insecurity was, but she feels she was going to lose her spot. To who? There's nobody else in the division. But she wanted to be number one. So the plan was simple. She put the mask on. She went out there as the Spider. They actually told Wendy, legit shoot. If this was just some jabron who she was going to run over, look good in front of the cameras. They went and wrestled. She botched, and I say she, Moolah, botched a small package on Wendy and got a 1 count where Wendy kicked out, and they rang the bell and gave the belt to Moolah as the Spider. And everything that happened after that was comical because Wendy was so furious, doesn't know what the hell's going on. She starts beating up Moolah for real as a shoot. Referee goes to grab the belt to give it to the Spider. Wendy grabs the belt, doesn't want to let go of the belt. In her mind, she never lost it, and she's not wrong. And all this shit happened in front of, a couple thousand people, and it's there for you to see. It's called the original screw job. It's there for you to see. She's fucking over talent. It's right there, plain as day. You want evidence? You don't want accusation? There it is. She took part in a screw job that not only ruined all the momentum the Wendy Richter had, but it was all the momentum the women had. She basically killed the entire division when they lost Wendy Richter because she wasn't as over as Wendy. When they lost their top star, which was Wendy, coming off of that Cyndi Lauper rock and wrestling stuff, that was it. She killed the division. So for all this, well, she paved the way garbage. No, she didn't pave the way. She cemented it. She prevented women. She didn't help women. Prevented them for years. Moolah paved, this is the best expression I've heard over the last 2 days. Moolah paved the way for Moolah. That's how we got here. Okay? Women are succeeding right now in spite of the fact that this is how she got over. This is how she did this. Okay? That was the Wendy Richter situation. Let's jump over to the Glamour Girls and the Jumping Bomb Angels. For those of you who don't know, the WWF had women's tag titles. Shocking, I know. There's been talk about bringing it back, but you know why we didn't have it for so long? Moolah! Moolah fucked the women over. The Jumping Bomb Angels and the Glamour Girls, if I'm not mistaken, were jumping back and forth between WWF and Japan, and there was some shit going on backstage. Moolah fed one team the wrong information, and there was a title change that took place in Japan that wasn't supposed to happen, and it burned every fucking bridge they had with WWE, and WWE not only blew up the two teams, they blew up the tag titles. She ruined an entire other women's division. She ruined the women's division, and she ruined the women's tag division. How is this a memorial situation? That's why these people are upset. These are not accusations. A lot of these stories have been told by a lot of people who are in the know, people who were there, students, teammates, co-workers, promoters. This has been ran up the food chain 1,000 times. The problem was, and I said this on Facebook yesterday, the problem is WWE knew about all of these things. Vince McMahon knows the stories. Triple H knows the stories. All of them know the Moolah stories. They just didn't care. You know why? They needed a face. They needed a face to be that flag bearer for a number of years, and Moolah was perfect because Moolah can control the situation. So they used Moolah for everything they could. Everything they could, and she was fine with that. But now people have the internet. People know. All you have to do is Google and find out. That's why it took so long for people to realize what a piece of shit this person really was, because it didn't get out until later. And that's why I say Moolah won, because for the whole period of her life, she was revered. She was a legend. She was talked about by all the women who came after her as this great deity of leadership and wisdom. And maybe in her later years she was, as she aged out and retired and was no longer really a part of the business. Of course, she could lend some of that knowledge to the women after her. But it's not true. It's absolutely not true. So for people now to be turning on Moolah, I'm going to finish the thought I was saying before. The WWE knew. This is what I said on Facebook. The WWE knew about all these things. The problem is they didn't know that you knew. So they'd be doing Fabulous Moolah stuff for years. Nobody gave a shit. This is really the first time it's ever backfired on them. So maybe this changes things. Maybe the last couple of hours makes them realize maybe this isn't a good thing. I don't think they'll change the name. And I don't think they should at this point. You're already this deep. You took all these things in hours already. You might as well just do it. But I think after this, I think they're going to start to think differently about how they use their previous women talent. They didn't get this backlash when they did Mae Young for the Mae Young Classic. But for Moolah, it was a bit of a hit. A bit of a hit. And I have respect for everyone that ever paved the way for me and helped me get into this business. And there's a lot of legends that I look up to and respect that have given me the time of day and have allowed me to pick their brains and be a better performer. But a piece of shit is a piece of shit. And that's just all there is to it. And I'm now considering myself a part of the group of pussies and cowards because I didn't know about this stuff when she was alive. I, too, found out after she had passed away. I was in the business when I found out about this stuff. So I knew about it from the inside perspective. That's how I know I can tell you that not all of this stuff is bullshit. A lot of this stuff really fucking happened. So that's the Moolah situation right there. And I don't understand. I don't understand why we waited this long. All right, why did we wait this long? That's what I mean by pussy cowardly shit. No one stepped to her when she was alive. I mean, I'm sure a few did. I'm sure a few. You don't get fucked over by a woman like that for 25 fucking years and not have some fucking problem with somebody. You know, I'm sure someone stepped up at some point, but not enough people did. It's a shame. Not enough people did. So, don't want to end it on a bad note, but there it is. That's your picks there for the Fabulous Moolah situation. We'll update everything going on the next week. Next week is an interview episode. Okay, I'll be making the announcement Friday like I normally do. I don't make the announcement until people are in my house, and I know that I'm going to do the interview. Because I don't want to announce an interview and then it cancels and yada, yada, yada. So I'll make the announcement Friday, but it should be a really big interview. I'm really looking forward to it. I think you guys are really going to dig it. It's going to be a whole new group of people talking about some wrestling stuff, and it's going to be cool. I don't have to do wrestling-only guests. If you have other guests that you'd like to hear from or other genres of guests I should be having, let me know. ajorsini96host@gmail.com is where you can post all of your questions and comments and concerns, and you can check out all the social media stuff at the bottom. So I hope my leg heals up, and I will see you all next week.
At my house. Listen to my daddy so. Or see me the SMI.